Hey folks, how you doing? Sunday the 17th, 2025, and quick update about the Ukraine-Russia war. I know I don't live in Ukraine or Russia, and I am not Ukrainian or Russian, although I do live in an area at the moment in Israel where there are a lot of Ukrainians and a lot of Russians who actually get along perfectly fine. Many of them are from mixed families, and seeing them deal with the emotional trauma, many of them having come here shortly after the war started, and most of them having been here before. The emotional trauma of seeing their family members involved in war fighting in yet another country, in addition to possibly having some relatives here in Israel who are fighting in war. It's a very difficult situation. And, you know, what we're seeing right now in Ukraine and Russia, unfortunately, is just more of the bloodletting that has been going on. And despite the recent summit between Trump and Putin that happened in Alaska, I don't even know if I'd call it a summit, but a meeting where they announced some things to some reporters and didn't take any questions. And the U.S. didn't really get anything out of that, and allowed Putin to speak first, which is weird because usually the host country's leader speaks first at such things. But in this case, no, the guest was allowed to speak first, which frankly I think is a nice change, except we're not talking about a normal situation here. So it's not a time for that kind of niceties, but whatever. You want to change protocols, go right ahead. Who cares? What matters is ending the war, right? That matters more than who spoke first, to be honest. But there was no agreement on ending the war. Putin did not agree to a ceasefire. Putin did not agree to give back the land that he has illegally invaded. Um, and in fact, quite the opposite. And he made it clear that they intend to keep that land, which, by the way, goes to my case for why Israel, which is a nation defending itself, should annex the land that it has taken. I mean, if Putin, an aggressor, is allowed to keep his land, the land that he's taken, right, illegally, then Israel should definitely be allowed to annex the land that it has captured legally and that is depopulated, especially, um, as it would not affect anyone's citizenship or the population of the state of Israel or the Palestinians. And in Russia, you have the opposite, right? Russia invading Ukraine, they've taken over land that is not depopulated. Some of the places have been depopulated, but most of them haven't been. And so all those Ukrainians would either have to leave if they want to stay in Ukraine, or live as Ukrainians in Russia, or potentially become Russians. That is yet to be determined. But it is a horrible and brutal situation. And right now, there really is no path to peace, to be honest. Right now, the path forward is a path that involves a lot more fighting and a lot more loss of life. So it would behoove the parties, namely Ukraine and Russia, to find a way to stop the fighting. Uh, but for now, unfortunately, as long as Putin is alive and has his territorial ambitions to reclaim the glory of the Russian Empire that once was, it is not very likely to happen. We are likely to just keep seeing the Russian war machine grind its way and grind up more and more of Ukraine, slowly but surely. And the speed at which they can do it will really largely depends on the amount of aid, military aid, that Ukraine continues to receive, and the amount of military arms that Ukraine manages to produce for itself, which is frankly astonishingly high compared to what they were at just a few years ago. And that's because they're an incredibly adaptive people with amazing improvisational talents, and they have really changed, the art of war in many ways. And their skills should be recognized as such because that's what they've managed to do. Anyway, hopefully we'll find the path to peace soon. But I ain't waiting up nights. I'll see you guys. Peace.